Britain's biggest and best retro game shop, Forgotten Worlds, has recently expanded and levelled up. And we here at TNF headed on over to see what we could see, what things were new, and to see if we could get ourselves a few little gems. Check it out.
To be fair, I probably got like 10 versions of this video on my phone somewhere. Do you have a version with that?
So that was our first initial impressions of Forgotten Worlds' new setup and their expansion. I had completely managed to avoid any of the videos out there of people going. I've since learned that Retro Ghetto somehow managed to beat us to it. Saunders, when you walked in, you were the one who maybe was able to capture a lot of that footage. What was your first impressions when you saw that massive new space that they had in there?
So I'll just start off by saying I did cheat very, very slightly. I did watch videos and I did hang about Forgotten World's TikTok page, and I did rent the unit around the corner for storage and bought my kitchen for the kitchen company across the street. So I spent a hell of a lot of time that week just watching what was happening. And do you know what, left me with more questions, but in a good way, because I think there's a real bright future for Forgotten Worlds. You'll see the tabletop area, and right now it's dead basic, but they do have some plans to start introducing trading card nights and some Warhammer and Wargaming type nights, which will be really, really interesting. Obviously, I think the best thing is there's just more space, like just to browse. You don't feel like you're on top of everybody. The layout's really nice. The wrestling section's got slightly bigger, which obviously for us,
Little tease.
is always interesting. The Golden Shovel Wrestling Podcast, or if you get your audio and video podcast, and it was interesting. It was an atmosphere, but a different atmosphere, and it's obviously dragged people in because you've referenced Retro Ghetto, but we do believe there's been 2 or 3 more that have since appeared, and we're waiting for their videos to drop. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued as to how they fill that space, and I'm also sitting there wondering where they're going to find another unit in a few years' time, because I just see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it is so good.
Oh yeah, these guys are going to the moon. It was one thing I really, really liked was that we went in, what would that have been, 6:30 on a Thursday evening, and it was still packed. And we were in there for about 45 minutes to an hour. There was still people in there when we left.
And constant turnover of people as well. There was people there the whole time we were there. There's people that were in for 10 minutes and 20 minutes and constant turnover. It's just, I find that a really fascinating place, and I don't know why, because it's just a shop at the end of the day, but I think it just creates a good atmosphere. And usually when you go in, you just start talking to the guys behind the counter, and
before you know it, you spend all your money. So
before you know it, you're counting the days till payday.
So because they've got that expanded space, they're able obviously to put out even more stock, and this place was pretty well stocked in the first place. So we're going to cut now from us having a chat here to the PS1 section, which I know you and I were particularly interested in our recent chats about what they had in there and the gems that we were able to find.
So I know we're going to actually start picking games out of the boxes here, but in that first cabinet that I just picked out things like Sledgestorm, Tokka 2, Snowboard Racer as well, apparently, because we've seemed to have a slight obsession with snowboarding games recently. But it's just absolute classics.
This, though, when that jumped out, I just knew. So in the footage here, Saunders and I were having a chat. It was quite loud at this point, so we came and had a chat here. It was quite loud around us, but I'd said to Saunders I'd seen a couple of copies of FF8 and FF9. If I saw a copy of 7, I was leaving with a copy of FF7, and then 3 seconds later, I found a copy of FF7. Now, it is actually in pretty decent condition, other than that tiny little nick that is internal to the case. It came home with me. It is on the shelves behind me, and keep an eye out for what that might mean for the TikTok channel in particular going forward.
I picked at this. I just think rally games have dropped off a cliff, but these are the games I remember from my childhood. And we did talk last week on TNF Talks podcast about how many games it gave away 10, 12 years ago.
Oh, that was
really
one of those ones that just didn't make it.
I gave everything for the PS1 and the PS2 away.
That's a sore one. That is a sore one when you think about it. All those gems that are just completely gone. There you go.
That's a classic.
That's an absolute classic. We actually had a chat about this on the bracket recently. If you go look at the channel and the favourite sports games, I was tempted to yank this out of your hands as well when I saw that, because it's a game I've not played in so long.
My entire childhood was in these boxes. I'm sure at one point I seen a copy of Formula 199, which was just a game I spent hours and hours and hours playing growing up. And this is just pure nostalgia. Yeah, Sledgestorm. Ross and I have talked about Sledgestorm in just about every video we've ever made together, and we both picked up PS2 copies a couple of months ago in our Can We Do 10 CEXs in one day video.
Which I actually had a little look at this. The Sledgestorm 1, Sledgestorm for the PS1 is a little bit different, but there's a classic of the genre, one that I am looking out for the non-plat myself, because I have the disc for this. I do not have a box, and I do not know where the box is gone.
I've only just realised, as we watch this back, that this is a platinum. And why did they start making the platinum cases so ugly in comparison? Because that's kind of blended and reasonable and looks normal, but in PS2 and especially PS3, it just stands out.
Yeah, whereas the PS1's fairly clean. It doesn't look too offensive on your shelf whatsoever. Now there's one I've never heard of before. When you picked that one out, I was a bit like, oh.
This was such... I distinctly remember playing this at a friend's house, and I never owned it, but I'm sure it's the same game. And I'm sure it's two-player co-op. One is driving the motorcycle and one's in the sidecar, and you're trying to escape the police, and they're on their bikes, and you can just sort of kick them and throw stuff at them and hit them with baseball bats and stuff and whatever else for a sidecar. It's one of the games that's like a pure arcade, like point-to-point type thing, absolute chaos, but like a lot of fun. Again, it's one of the games that you'd put on that list of just upgrade it, remake it, stick it on Game Pass.
100%.
People would play it.
I know I would. I mean, that description alone was enough for me to be kind of intrigued here by what that would look like in 2025.
Set up a sim racing rig in here in the next few months and get back into racing games properly. I don't know why I picked this up. It was interesting in the X-Files.
It might be the double box.
I think I was a double box, and then for some reason this was sitting there.
We found that quite funny. Now that you've seen us have a little chat and run through what the PS1 games are, let's jump back in to the store and run through what other things we were able to find.
I'm severely tempted to buy the two of them. 2010 and 2008.
I have one of them for 360. I think it might be that one.
I might actually have one of them in that box. I know I gave away some of the games, but I did remember I had that box that I boxed up about 6 months ago. I know, I've got that, I know I've got that. It's in that. It's now in my office. It was moved to storage at the weekend. That is also a super underrated game like that.
Do you remember everyone nuts for that recently?
It's so good.
Sidemen.
It's because the Olympics were on last year, they won it, and then they've never made the one good enough again. But they did it because obviously they had their thing years ago, so they just go back to it. Plus, you can find some nice. That is a really nice steel book.
That's steel and tin book.
The issue I've got right now is until I do the room up, it's just going to go into a box. Which if anybody's watched last week's video will know what I've explained about it. And that's also a rather nice looking tin.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
That is pretty cool. I'm not holding it really far away from me though, because the shape it and the angle.
If anyone somehow slept on
I think this is what shows you how bad the Xbox One, the Series X generation was. This is the section versus 360.
I'm trying to think if there's even anything on my list these days.
You know it's top of my list, but it's not there.
Yeah.
I do have that in the house, and that is my favourite
It
steelbook.
is a nice one. It's very understated, but it is quite nice.
X1 2017, that was probably 2015 might have been the best in the new gen. I really need to get myself back into some racing games. Oh, there's Slick Dog right there. But it's just too battered, isn't it? And also, CX is now 16 quid.
I mean, see all the one tiny nick on it? There.
I mean, that is the spine though.
I know.
Like if it was the other side, I
Would
could.
you not think though, would you not display that facing forwards to see the art?
I know, but it's 16 quid in TX.
But is it going to be 16 pounds at 40?
I don't know.
So after looking through all those old games, we did have to, of course, check out the trading card section. Now, this is just a relatively small sample of the slab wall that they do have. Now, since we visited, they have been adding to this collection. They do have some rather nice 151 starter sets, all PSA 10s and Japanese. It is worth noting that Forgotten Worlds is a retro game store. The trading cards and Pokemon cards, although they do have on occasion a relatively good selection and the binders are pretty full, this is secondary to their main part of their business. However, one of us in the day did pick up a rather nice vintage piece of Pokemon history.
So yes, I came away with a Dragonite that, well, yes, it may have been moderately played from the Fossil set that when I saw it, I think it was Craig actually who waved me down to go and have a look at the binders in particular. When I saw this, I couldn't say no to it. This cost me £20, which for the condition it's in, is probably a fair price. There are obviously much better conditions one out there in the world, but they cost an arm and a leg, and to get something like that, to get the holo in there at that price, I couldn't say no. However, that being said, it wasn't just me that came back with a bit of cardboard from this trip.
So for those of you guys who aren't wrestling fans, this is a Becky Lynch rookie card from Topps from sort of 2015 when she made her main roster debut. Now, as you can see, it's autographed and it is a post-production autograph. She has signed this card because somebody's asked her to sign it. It wasn't signed as part of the original print run for the cards. I've had my in this for about 9 months. Every time walking in Forgotten Worlds, I've looked at it and I've decided not to buy it. And on this day, whether it was peer pressure or whether it was just the fact that I'm now collecting wrestling cards, I had to pick it up. To me, she will probably go down as one of, if not the greatest women's wrestler in the history of the WWE. Her recent work has been absolutely phenomenal once again, and it's just a nice one for the collection. It is authenticated. You saw there in the wee clip. It's got the holographic mark on the back of it, and I've got the certificate in my drawer with the card. I'm probably going to try and get it graded, authenticated and slabbed by PSA or BGS. So let us know in the comments if you've got any experience with sports cards with either. And it's just another card for the ever-growing wrestling card collection, which, if you're interested in bringing more to this channel, let me know. If not, maybe you'll see a wee bit more on our other channel, the Golden Shovel Wrestling Podcast, where we talk all things wrestling every week. With that being said, maybe Forgotten Worlds will get some more in because they only have 4 cards. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our trip to the new, improved, bigger and better Forgotten Worlds in Sturton. we're obviously very, very lucky that it is essentially our local hangout spot for all things retro gaming and collecting. It is minutes from my house and the rest of the guys and where we grew up. It's slightly further from the nomad that is Ross Taggart. But let us know in the comments, did you see anything in the panoramics? Did you see anything in the walk around that we didn't go into detail on? You'd like us to go back and maybe focus on in a future video? I am pretty much there every week.
Every day.
It's not far away. And to be honest with you, in this particular trip, it was more about the four of us getting together again for the first time in a few months and just having a bit of fun, reminiscing about the good old gaming days, putting together this video. But yeah, let us know if there's anything that you've seen you want us to dive into more detail. Let us know if you're going to be visiting. If you're not sure about visiting, trust us, it's worth the trip. It is phenomenal. You will almost certainly come away with multiple things for your collection. The only reason that you see us pick up one thing at a time is we're there all the time and the stock doesn't turn over quick enough for our visits. But yeah, Union Proof Forgotten Worlds. I've been to a lot of retro gaming shops now across the UK this year, especially if you go back and look at the Birmingham vlog from May, but it's still the best. It's just brilliant.
I echo Saunders' sentiments there, exactly. So if you want to check out any of our other stuff, go to Instagram or TikTok. You will find us there under the Nerd Pandemic. Nice and easy, nice and consistent. Take it easy, folks, and we will see you guys in the next one.